Okay, so I have a question. You always say you don't need 50K followers to build a brand and have also a successful business. And I know that there are many of the listeners of this podcast that always come back and tell me, Sina, I know you want me to build a personal brand and I want to build one, but I don't want to be famous. I want to be an author and I want my work to be out there, but I don't want to be famous. I
Yes.
want people to see my work, but I don't want to be famous. So why do you say that you don't need, you know, whatever, 20, 50, 100K followers to build a business and be successful? And how else can you make sure that you're monetizing the followers that you have?
Yes. So I want to start by saying personal branding, of course, is not famous. There are people who have built a personal brand that I don't know. Simple as that. Even in my previous trip, I just got back from, and I was being very COVID safe, people, but I just got back from Puerto Rico with my friend, and this guy comes up to us because we're like laughing with our raider, and he's asking what we're laughing about. And long story short, we end up having a conversation with him, and he's like, "Hey, follow me on Instagram." I'm sure. And so we go on his Instagram. He has like maybe 800 followers, and he's verified. And we're like, "Oh, why are you verified?" And it turns out that he is like this top-notch artist, like a painter, and just that just goes to show. And he just from looking at his page, you could tell that he had a personal brand himself. He was very like witty, but also super well respected and all of that. And so not only is he living the life that he wants, because just from talking to him, he was able to take off 6 months, then decide to go to Puerto Rico to just live out COVID, in his words. And so a personal brand does not mean famous. A personal brand means that you are giving people really the same feeling consistently. Like, how are people feeling when they interact with you? What do they think about you consistently? What does your work show for yourself? It's kind of having something about you that is expected, and that can be scary. That can be feeling like you're stuck in a box at times, but it's not. You truly have the opportunity to switch up your personal brand. I mean, many celebrities who we once thought were these great people have switched their personal brand and became weirdos, it's just, these scandals that people have. So you can change it, but it's also something that's like to be expected. I like to think of it kind of like Disney, those kid stars. They have a personal brand. Again, I'm using a famous example, but I just want you to think about it. They have a personal brand, and then they grow up, and it's a totally different brand. But we now know each time what to expect from them. And in that little shift, things are like weird, but we know what to expect from them. And so personal branding does not mean famous. Girl, what was the second part of your question?
Oh, so how do you monetize? How do you monetize? And I want to ask another thing. So how do you monetize the following that you have, even if it's smaller?
I love this because I know so many clients who have like the tiniest following, literally, who have like 50 followers and still sell $1,000 products. But again, truthfully, it just goes back to that community, because it does not matter, even for my page, it doesn't matter if you have 30,000 followers if 0 people on there trust you or know you or believe in your product. But if you have 50 followers and 28 of them believe in you and trust you and know your product, that is what matters, right? And so it all goes back to that community, and still using a lot of people that I know, they kind of feel like they need to wait. Like, I'm going to wait until I grow my following before I start doing these strategies or putting out my best work because no one's looking at it right now. And for me, it's almost kind of disrespectful, because how dare you say that 50 people or 100 people are no ones, nobody's looking at it. That's 100 people. Imagine standing in a room of 100 people. Would you be pitching your product the best you can then? Of course. And so it's the same way on social media. I have a friend of mine. She is oh gosh, I don't want to mess this up. Is either Vietnamese or Japanese coach, and for like speaking. And her program is a 6-week program, and I think it's 2,500. Her following on Instagram is like around, I think, 700 people, and she's booked out every time. And I think she accepts like 20 people for each 6-week process, because the people on her page, they came to her for a reason. She branded herself beautifully. They trust her. They know her. Even with her quote unquote small following, she's still putting out her best work. She's still building that community. Any questions they have, she's still answering it. She's still going on live, talking to those 2 people that show up and giving her best work. And that one person could be the person that changes your life. When people say, oh, I'm just going to not do live because I only have one person. Okay, and that one person might be the person who signs up for your $10,000 coaching, you know? So I would say just stop undervaluing the audience that you have.
I love that. I saw a post from Lizzo the other day where she said, you know, she came a long way from just being in an empty bar with literally her, you know, some friends, like 2 friends and 3 drunken people, and she still did the show, right? You always hear that, like, musicians have to, you know, show up fully and do the show even if the audience is small. And the same in social media. I just feel that we disconnect from the person. We kind of we see handles and potential clients, and we don't understand that, like, they are really watching and they really want to know you. So I learned that a lot from you. I want to go a little bit more into a community-based business. So specifically in terms of membership and really creating a community without feeling overwhelmed. So for instance, I tend to get distracted a lot when people send me messages. I'm like answering them. I want to start a conversation, and then I look at my plan. I'm like, wow, I'm so behind with my tasks. So how can you create a community-based business that it's authentic and you take time, but you don't feel overwhelmed with just that time that you take up for people?
Yeah, I will say that used to be me. I used to be that person who jumped for every message, and I would look up and my entire day would be gone. And I had to realize, if you want to continue to serve these people, you need to stop talking to them for a second. And so I had to set boundaries, and I have posted on my social media and even inside my group, Brown Girl Biz World. I have posted before, and I was actually going to post a reminder because I looked in today and I had so many messages on Saturday that I don't work Friday through Sunday, and I don't work after 5 p.m. my time. And so, you know, I'll respond the next day or I'll get to it. But I just had to set those boundaries, let them be clear and let them be known, but also set them for myself. Like, there are times where I truly want to respond. Someone messaged me in the group just now and they were asking a question. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to answer this. But if I answer this, it's making it okay to message me on the weekend, and that's not okay. And I have to, you know, follow my own rules. And so it's really just being disciplined within yourself, because it can be easy to get overwhelmed. I have been there. Even the very first month, like the original month that I opened Brown Girl Biz World, I was like, nope, I'm closing it and refunding everybody's money. My family was like, you cannot do that. And I was like, no, I'm giving the money back. I'm just giving it back, because I felt so overwhelmed, and I didn't set boundaries for myself and so I was posting content all day, every day, and I was doing random live calls all the time, and I was responding to every single message. And I thought at the time, I was like, well, I can't switch it up on them and tell them that we're only meeting on these days and these days now, because they already paid, and I feel like that would be, you know, kind of like taking their money or whatever it may be. And then, you know, I realized I have to give myself permission to take care of myself. And so I made a post. I was like, hey guys, we're only meeting twice a month live now. These are my hours. And everybody was like, okay. Yeah. You know, so yeah, like we stress ourselves so much over what we think people are how they're going to react, and it's probably not the case.
Yeah, and I love the schedule. Actually, I feel very sad that I don't live in the US, because the live calls are always at, like, I don't know, like 3 a.m. in my place. So I either have to switch my whole schedule, that I really wake up for the morning prayer at 5 and I just stay up, and hopefully the time change will work a little. But I also like that you post on certain days, because then I know, okay, she posted Thursday, Friday is my day where I'm going to catch up, I'm going to do my notes. It also gives me structure rather than always going into the group and looking every time, because it's another place I want to learn from, but I also don't want to be only learning and not applying. So
Yes.
it really helps. Just the feedback from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure if anything here resonated with you that you leave a like, that you are subscribed, and that you leave something in the comments that could inspire someone else too. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.